Hey guys, I'm back, and this is gonna be a part 14 for Veeam backup and replication. Um, and today's topic is actually the VM recovery. I know we talked about um, the replica in last two videos, so today we're gonna discuss Veeam recovery, and in Veeam recovery we're going to talk about is like what are the different recovery scenarios, and also we have a feature in Veeam called instant VM recovery. So we're going to actually do a uh, the entire setup, like how to retrieve it, and what is involved. And then we're going to talk about a little bit for file recovery. You might want to talk about a VM recovery. These few things which are pretty important. So let's start. Okay, guys. Let's see hypothetically, you don't have a VM replica and your production machine has failed. And so what do you want to do? You have an option. Obviously, assuming you are backing up your machine, the production machine, which is no longer available, hypothetically again. So one option is you can do a full VM recovery. So you can use a from the backup file. You can retrieve that the VM to a original location or any other location you want to. You can retrieve a VM files actually. Let's say you have a VMDK file, so you can retrieve just the file. Or if your machine is, a VM machine, for example, it's not coming back up just because of a configuration failure. So in that case, you can just go and retrieve the configuration file, in VMware. um, or if you want to retrieve a the file level recovery. I know we already talked about the file level recovery, but we're talking about in this contest where we're talking about a the VM recovery or data recovery. And also you can actually retrieve data, the file level recovery we talked about. Not only Windows, but you can do a Novell NetWare. I don't know if anybody's using it or not, but trust me, people are using it. And I was at one point a Novell certified engineer a long time ago. And also you can use a Unix. You can restore files from Mac and Linux and a Sun Solaris, and they call it a like a BSD, which is also form of Linux. You can use a Veeam Explorers. I think we talked about it in our previous videos. So Veeam Explorers are very, very, very special tools to retrieve item levels recovery from Exchange, SQL, Oracle, and a domain. And also, we're going to talk about a universal application item. You can use they call it a U-Air, U-Air. It's an application where you retrieve objects or file from the backup files. And also, what we missed actually yesterday, there was a small, um, like the tool. Normally, the tool is it's like if you are backing up to your tape drives, for example, and a what happened if after a few months or few years you don't have that the Veeam server backup server, and you just have the tapes. So how would you retrieve that file, even though if you don't have the product? So that is actually a important questions from exam perspective, and from a operational perspective as well. So we also going to talk about that utility, which the utility is known as the Veeam backup extractor utility. Uh, how to explain that thing better? Basically, um, I can show you actually what that utility is. That utility is a graphical user interface as well as a the command line. So for graphical interface is can be started normally on a Microsoft Windows machine. So in that and then it actually they're gonna ask you actually an exam on test and real exam is like where is that utility? So let's see that utility is under your C drive actually. Under if you go to under C drive and most likely your in our case should be program files under Veeam and a under Veeam under where is this one under Veeam. Let me see 1 second under I don't use that much, so just bear with me. I'm gonna go under program files. I'm gonna go under Veeam, under backup and replication, under backup. Okay, so even though it's a 64-bit operating system, but sometime I don't know they install files under program files instead of program file 86 folder. So under here you will see a this is the path actually program file or normally they say a program files the Veeam backup and replication and backup. You need to actually remember this thing. Believe me or not, you will be quizzed. Hey, where is that utility? And the utility you're gonna see is let's see under Veeam. Uh, the name is Veeam dot backup dot extractor. So Veeam dot backup. Probably I just like to go through. Okay, really? Um, if I click here, I go to um, Veeam dot backup dot e. So right here. So see right here, when I clicked on it, it just opened actually. Your the GUI. You can run it manually or you can click on it from here. So what normally does it, you can browse because we know we have our the backups right here. Where was the backup? I thought we had under E drive, and that was the backup. Oh, we didn't have the backup on this repository. We have it under C backup because remember we were running out of space, so we started using E for replica. So under backup and under backup job, let's say my first backup job, and right you see here the VBK file, and VBK file is a full backup. Um, we're going to talk about later about the extensions because they're going to be like probably 2 questions about which extension is for what, and that's important. So I'm going to click OK on the VBK file, and right here, you know, we can extract it actually. Um, I'm just going to show you right here how to extract it, but I'm not actually going to do extraction because this is just for a knowledge perspective. And obviously you have to actually select the folder where you want to extract to. And um, For example, I can select the backup. Um, I'm just thinking, should I extract it to, because what's going to do it basically, I don't know how long it's going to take, and it's just going to extract this file. So, and then you can use that file whatever you want. So this was actually a, just to prove the point, that you have the GUI to extract the file if you need to. And the other thing is, um, they talk about a couple of more utilities. So yeah, I'm going to open the command line right here. Actually, I want to open another command line right here and minimize this thing. And so right here, the other utility I want to do it is called extract. So you remember, see right here is asking a path for VBK file. So and the other one is actually a for Linux version. It actually you can use the extract.exe. Um, I cannot actually browse that file, but um, you get the idea. Actually, that's the whole idea for this thing. I don't want to go actually extracting file because it's going to take enough time to go through. And this is just for the concept. Hey, there are three there are like three different or two different utilities. One is the Veeam backup extractor.exe, which is the graphical interface. The other one is extract.exe that works on the command line. And there are actually two of them, one for a Microsoft Windows version, the other one version is for Linux. Um, and the key to remember is the extract utility always restore a VM from the full backup file. So if I go back to the extractor utility, for example, and I click OK, see right here, it says VBK file. So if you have incremental file, it will not work. It will only go to the full backup. And that full backup doesn't matter is a synthetic backup or it's a active backup. So I thought I missed this part in my previous video, so that's why I'm covering in this one. So I'm going to close this thing and we're going to go back to our um, data recovery scenario. So in data recovery scenario, let me pull up a document for you guys. Okay, guys, if you see this document right here, this is also from a Veeam help center and for 9.5. Like I mentioned, hey, we're gonna assume this is the latest the document available. So you can read all these things. So what I'm going to do I'm going to talk about is a instant VM recovery. So this one, what does it do actually? This one enables you to instantly start a VM directly from a backup file. And then you have a full VM recovery that's enables you to recover VM from a backup file to its original or another location. So these options are, just to be sure, in addition to what we discussed is replica. The replicas are different, very different than instant recovery or full VM recovery or VM file recovery, and a virtual drive restore or Windows level file recovery or multi-OS file level recovery. Um, not every organization gonna have replicas available. If you have a medium or small business, and if you have a pretty stable environment, and also the most important factor is your SLA, the service level agreement, is like, okay, if your machine goes down, can you guys live for an hour, 2 hours, for example, or you need a instant migration to replica. So if you can live for like let's say like 30 minutes or 20 minutes, or whatever the time is, you can actually decide, because the more feature you buy, more you have to pay. So if something can be done with a the standard feature, versus a the plus feature, so the price is three times, like $780 for standard versus 2,300 some dollars for with full feature. So that's where you have to do the balance basically. Hey, do you really need a the latest version, or you can work by the standard one? So I'm not saying which feature is available where, because we already discussed in previous videos. So what I'm trying to say is, um, you have options. You have an option. Veeams give you so many options basically. Sometimes you wonder, hey, wait a minute, do I need a replica? Do I need to, restore from a backup? In a backup, do you have to have a active full backup or synthetic full backup? Do I need to have a, like a the appliance, dedupe appliance? So there are a lot of options. So anyway, back to your topic is like you have instant recovery and a and you have full recovery. So what we're going to do, actually, I just wanted to show you this thing. So actually we're going to go through with a instant file recovery option. So I'm going to minimize this thing. We might need to go back there. So right now I have this um, the backup, for example, right? I have this backup right here, or I can create a new backup. So let's try this thing. So just to give you guys out of the box experience, like we're gonna do this thing, like test for instant recovery. So I'm gonna create a backup, and I'm gonna actually pause it so you guys don't have to wait. So I'm gonna select a brand new machine right here. So I'm gonna select a, oh no, I should select a smaller machine. Um, I don't want to select this Windows 7 machine, because these Windows 7 machines are part of a Citrix VDI, or the VMware Horizon. So if I delete this thing, that's not the real machine. It's just the clone, couple of machines. Um, I can do Windows 10. Let's see here. So I'm going to do this a Citrix Desktop Delivery Controller 2. Let's see. So I'm going to go next, and I'm going to choose the second repository. Oh, this was selected second, okay. And here we don't have to take any action right now here, because it's just for test. I'm going to take this option right here. Okay, there's no script. So I'm going to click OK. Nothing special. Next. I'm just going to enable it. And we'll test it now just to be sure. And it's just taking forever to. So that machine is up. I wonder why the test is taking a longer time. Okay, so that machine is up and running. You know, this is amazing. Like we were testing the other machine, it was taking like few seconds, and this one is taking forever. It's been like 1 minute and 34 seconds, and we know that the machine is up and running. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and restart that machine one time, because these machines are running for a very long time. So let's see. That was our DDC. So when the normal machine is back, you'll see the IP address assigned to it. Yep, so the machine is up, and we're gonna retry the test. So we rebooted it just to be sure. I'm not sure if the firewall is on or off, so uh, so sometimes the same task, which takes like 10 seconds, ended up taking like 5 minutes. So it says the domain firewall is on. So I'm gonna go ahead and disable the domain. So here is one more thing to remember. Hey, if we want to do the test, we need to make sure okay, see, as soon as I disable the firewall, this thing is okay. You know, it says processing. I know this thing is because of the storage not having enough space or getting close to full, depending on the machine. So basically the test is done, I think, because the time stopped. Okay, no, it still says processing. So I wonder how big I hate to spend time on a thing which we don't have to. Under C drive, and C drive is 87 free. Maybe I need to eject this disk. I don't want to have that disk to be backed up. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be backed up, but I want configuring the job. I didn't exclude anything, so I'm going to click here. Okay, I'm going to close this thing, and I'm going to go back real quick here, back, and let's see what the exclusion is in the disks. Edit all disks. So, okay. Okay, I'm gonna just try one more time real quick. You know, it was caused by the firewall. Okay, see, within 8 seconds it's processing. That's fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say run this job. Um, Do I need to schedule this job, or because we're just going to test it? Yeah, why not? Let's schedule it. Let's follow our standard. This is every day. It's every day. We're going to try every hour. Here we go. Save. Run this job. Okay. So as you can see, the job is running. So I'm going to pause this video and I'm going to wait when this thing is done. So what I'm trying to do is when this thing is done, backing up, I am actually basically I'm going to delete the original VM from there, and we're going to do a simulating like, hey, something major went down, and we're going to be doing an instant recovery. And I'm going to see how long it's going to take. See you in a minute. Okay guys, I'm back, and actually it didn't take much, it didn't take longer to back this thing up, and this thing was done pretty fast. So what I'm going to do it, I want to use this option for instant VM recovery just to demonstrate this feature. Um, So let me perform the instant recovery first before we talk about it. So I'm gonna do it right here. Um, that's the risk actually I'm taking, because this machine is, is part of my uh, desktop delivery control. Um, so anyway, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna click here and a edit setting. Let me power off first. So I'm gonna go power off this machine real quick. And I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to say delete from the disk. So guys, I am deleting my working DDC. It's a good idea to do it. Yeah, why not? Okay. So I am deleting the entire machine. See, it's gone. And I'm trusting like the Veeam Instant Recovery gonna bring it back. So I'm gonna click on Instant Recovery, and it's asking which one. They were like um, DDC2, so it was done full increment and with the incremental. So I'll take the top one. Um, some backup files are locked. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna cancel this thing here. Okay, guys. So um, holy cow, my instant recovery wasn't done. I thought it was done, but it says 99% complete, and I deleted my original machine. Good job, Raza. So let's see what it's doing actually right here. So guys, don't make the mistake I made. I should have checked. Hey, the test for instant recovery machine was running, or I mean, backup was done 100% or not. By looking at the statistics right here, somehow I assume it was done. Um, okay, let's get back to business. Let's see how long it's going to take to finish, because the original machine, which was being backed up, is no longer there. So I'm going to pause the video. So I'm going to see how long it's going to take to finish. Okay, the instant recovery actually is finished with warning, and the warnings are it doesn't say any. Okay, it's finished with warning, so that's fine. at rest. As long as I don't have to create from the scratch that machine again. So let's go back to our disk here, and under instant recovery, this one, instant recovery, incremental. Next, I'm going to say restore to the original location. Quickly initiate. So let's see how long it's going to take. It is a, actually it's going to show us the time anyway. So I'm going to say this was another test for uh, instant recovery. So, so now see right here, these are the options which normally, we don't see it in the documentation. So it's an instant recovery setting is the VM is this one, host was fine because that was the host. It was data store, disabled, new VM, the same name. See, after you click next, the selected VM will instantly recover into the production environment. To finalize the recovery, use a storage vMotion to move running VM to the production storage. Alternatively, you can perform cold VM migration during your next maintenance window. If you are performing manual recovery testing, remember to change VM network to non-production before powering on to the VM. So what they're saying it is like if this is just for testing, then don't connect VM to the network. You actually manually connect to a non-production machine where it won't interfere. So, but what we did actually, we actually deleted our production machine, and we're gonna say, okay, connect to the network. Let's see which net, because I have like two network or three networks, one for the storage, one for the vMotion, and one for the machines, for production. So, and I'm gonna say, hey, power on. Make sure original server is powered off. Hey, we deleted it. Recovering server into production network with original server still running may affect some application. Really, it's gonna be a disaster if you do that. So what I'm gonna do it. I just want you guys to see this options. What's gonna happen. So I'm gonna click OK, and it says starting. So let's see right here, because it's supposed to be instant, right? That's what we buying Veeam for this functionality. So our machine was DDC2. See right here, the DDC2 is right here. So guys, you see how fast this thing works actually? So this one is actually using, they call it the vPower NFS technology, or the server. In this case, a server right here. So registering VM, powering on VM, updating session successfully, and waiting for user to start migration. So this machine, I don't want to stop it. One of the statistics. So let's see. So what I'm going to do is the first thing I'm going to do the RDP. I know the machine is running. We can see it in a console right here. Machine is running, and it has the IP address, the same IP address assigned automatically. So the best check normally do is, you know what, let's do the RDP. Here you go, guys. My server, the one I deleted actually, is back in the business. Right. So I want to minimize this thing. So our test up to this point is successful. Now what it's saying, let's say open a console. Oh, that's the it's going to the my ESXi actually. Why is going to my ESXi? Um, let's see. Actually, you know what? Let's just hold on to this thing. And now let's follow this thing. It said, hey, waiting for user to start my migration. So now why it says the migration is this VM which we see running um, on our ESXi right here. This is running from instant recovery, meaning this one is actually pointing to our backup servers, the E drive. So this machine is running right from here, um, right from here. Yeah, right from here. So, so right here you see this VIB, by the way. Just want to, it's off the topic a little bit, but the VIBK is a incremental backup. So this is the backup file, the full backup. This is incremental backup, and we restore. We running the instant machine using this incremental backup. So incremental backup is going all the way to the full backup. And this is also the exam question, meaning and a test question is like, what is VIB extension for? It's just the VI Veeam, I for incremental, B for backup, and this one is full backup. Um, so what we have to do is like once we check, hey, the machine is up and running, everything is good, and there is no way we can bring our production machine back online because we deleted it or that machine was not recoverable. So what we're gonna do is actually we're gonna promote this machine to a production. That's why it's waiting for. So let's try that one. So the thing is to bring it back to production. If you go under same, like a backup replication console, and you will see this one thing is running right here, right? This is just the showing the job is running, and this was the disk which we actually did the instant VM recovery. That's what we did, and right here on the top it said instant recovery. So under instant recovery, you will see that job, and it's going to say A is mounted actually. So these are the key concept to clear up right here. So if you see something here is mounted, meaning it's running from not from an ESXi, it's running on your vCenter or ESXi, but it is running not from the data store. Actually, this one is running from your wherever your backup recovery points were. So what we do once we know, hey, everything is working fine, and normally there was a warning about, hey, if you want to move it to the production. Um, um, so guys, here's the thing is like I can migrate this thing. This was actually open a VM console. That was the the prompt when I click open console. So I'm going to say, hey, quick migrate to production. So now it's asking, hey, it's going to go to this host, resource pool, Citrix, and same option. I'm going to click OK. Um, you always require a source and target proxies. And I know I think it is about time to talk about the proxies, what the proxies does. Once we're done with this topic. And right here it says force VM quick migration. Migration process will use VMware vMotion whenever migration scenario and VMware license allow to do so. Select this checkbox to force quick migration even if vMotion is available. So what they okay for this option, the vMotion for VMware, if you don't have a VMware Enterprise license, that option won't work. So that's why they say, hey, VMware Storage Motion is only available with VMware Enterprise license and above, basically, obviously. Um, And guys, here is the thing. What the when we check the Veeam quick migration, what Veeam quick migration does it actually perform in two stage. They call it a two-stage procedure. So instead of pulling data from the vPower, NFS data store, where in our case is the E drive, it will restore a VM from the backup file on the production server, in the background. Then move all the changes and consolidated them from the vData. So when we use this option, it's going to copy it from the backup to the production, and then during this time, whatever the changes are done, is gonna copy, these changes. It's gonna merge these changes, just like a replica to a production. Whatever changes were made during the machine was running as a replica, the same way whatever changes are being done right now on that machine which is running directly, uh, that's going to be like a in second stage is going to merge it. So we can use this one, or we don't have to use this one. So because I do have a enterprise license on my VMware, so let's see what's going to do. Okay. The delete source VM file upon successful quick migration do not apply to vMotion. So this is the machine mode vMotion, and it's going to this host resources. It says this is going to data store. So I'm going to say hey, finish. And now what it's doing it is like it's copying the file, actually, migrating it to production. So normally you can do this part, after hours, because if the machine was critical enough, you have, for you um, to perform an instant recovery, then finalizing it, you can do it after hours. So I'm not sure how long it's going to take. I'm going to pause this video right here, or actually, you know what? I'm gonna let it run this thing. I'm gonna click OK. We will know anyway right here because this one is running. Now we have like two jobs. So this one is in quick migration and insert. So they're like two different jobs are running. The other thing I wanna take the time right here while we're waiting for this thing. Um, Under a instant recovery, come on, under where's the backup? I'm sorry, disk backup. Instant recovery one. So that was the instant recovery one, right? So we needed an instant recovery. You can do instant recovery, and then you can migrate to production. And trust me, a instant recovery is kind of intermediary step, just like a replica, a failover. So you have to finalize it. So that's what we did, the finalizing, where we said, okay, now migrate to production, right? So the other option is restore entire VM. So you don't want to run it. The instant recovery, for example, is not a important enough machine. You guys, I mean, the production can wait. You can restore a entire VM. You can select this thing, and actually, not only you can select the machine, but also the points. So we didn't have many points because we just recently did the backup. So you can select any point if you want to. You click on next, then you're gonna have a restore mode, just like a replica restore. Restore VM setting, and then it's gonna ask you reason. It seems like we want to keep a track for every time um, you restore. And then when I'm gonna click, um, this is test again. So I'm gonna click OK. It's gonna give me summary. And then I'm going to cancel it because I'm not going to retrieve the entire machine. So it says I'm just going to cancel it. I can click OK, show the VMs. See, this is the VM. So I'm going to say, you know what, cancel it. We're not going to do it. You know. So what happened here? The difference between instant recovery and a restore entire VM is, restore entire VM going to take some time, while instant recovery will, boom, start start running the machine straight from your recovery points. And this one is a restore virtual disk. If something happened, you can actually select, and it's going to look into the virtual disk information, which VMDK file is. So it says it's going to be powered off and then restore. That's fine. See right here. So it's not going to restore the entire machine. It's just going to copy the VMDK file. And here is the option. Once it's going to restore the VMDK file. Normally VMDK file is when you're creating, you have to choose the option 10, take lazy, and take eager 0. I'm pretty sure you guys know this thing. 10 is if you have a 100 gig 100 GB C drive, and if you say 10, and out of 100 GB drive is only 5 GB is used, so it's gonna copy the 5 GB. Take lazy zeros are it's gonna carve out the space. Hey, I'm using a 100 gig, so this is my boundary, but I'm not using it right now, for example. And when you do take equal 0 for 100 gig, it's gonna go and it's gonna it's gonna mark it so nobody else can use it. So these are the different options. This has nothing to do with Veeam, but it is good to know, because if you're running out of space, then like I'm doing it thin, because I have my 100 gig or 500 GB drive are just there, but I'm not using all the space. So, and if I click on next, it's gonna say same thing. Okay, I'm gonna select this thing. It's gonna say next, in the same reason. I'm gonna say next, and I'm gonna cancel it because I don't want to do this thing. So guys, you can see it. We did the practical example for instant VM, which is still in process. You can restore the entire VM. You can restore the files, virtual disk, and now it says you can restore the VM files. So the difference between the VM files, let's see here. See right here, it's not only see the other option was giving you a just to restore the VMDK file. This one is giving you option to restore VMX file and NVRAM file. So for example, you're missing a VMX file, right? What you can do, you can just restore the configuration file, and this way you don't have to, the configuration file contain the entire information about your machine. So this way, it's an easier option. Just restore the configuration file, and this is a very important part of your exam. You're going to be asked for this thing. What are the two options? Can you restore VMDK file? Can you restore VMX file? And under what options you will see this thing. So this option you will see a restore VM files. So this restore VM file is not the backup file, even though it's a VMDK file, but this is the fourth option. So virtual disks and VM files. So these are the four options. And then obviously, if somebody says, hey, I am missing a file, I need to restore that file, either Unix or Linux, you can click on here. You can actually do it. It's gonna finish, and it's gonna pop up, and it's gonna give you the option which files you want to restore it. It's just running. Here you go. And this is the same option, regular option to restore files right here. And if this were to be an Exchange server or anything, then we could have used one of these 4 or 5 options. But in this case, we don't have to. So, and the last app, this one is the same thing. You can click on a file, and then you can browse to one of those, the Veeam Explorer, or you can restore application item straight from here. It's going to do the same thing actually. It's just another way to do it is going to pop up the Veeam Explorer, and it's going to give you a database. It's asking me to add the database. So I mean, I'm just going to show you this option. So this is one of the options for if you want to store, if, what you call if you want to use a, um, what you call it, the application level. It could be SQL, it could be Exchange, it could be Oracle, it could be whatever you want. And right here you have an option if you want to restore this machine to Microsoft Cloud Azure. Which we didn't do it, so it's like going to ask you do the subscription and all kind of things. Okay, the server does not have the doesn't seems to have Azure PowerShell installed. We can install it if you run it. There you go. So we installing this just the Azure PowerShell just if we need to configure the restore option to Azure. So here you go, finish, exit, close, and I want to minimize this thing. So if I click this time, it's really maybe it needs a restart because we know we installed it. No, here please restart the console. It says here restart the console. So I don't know this console or the entire console. Let's see. No, I think we have to. While we're doing it, so why not? That was my disk right here, and restore to Azure. Yes, next. So okay, so this time it didn't give us the error message. So now they're asking for, hey, what account you have for Azure subscription? So obviously we don't have it, so we're not going to do it. And also Azure does support your Linux-based computers. So here's an option either for Windows and for the Linux-based. So I'm going to cancel this thing right here, and a okay, that was a okay. Let's see. And this is your the instant recovery one. Um, it got restored to production. See instant test instant recovery, job progress, blah blah blah. So I'm gonna hide the detail and I'm gonna close it. So nothing is running right here. So everything was supposed to be um, active is no longer active. Um, and our machine is up and running, the one we just restored. So what I'm gonna do it actually just to be sure, I'm gonna go and restart. Actually, I'm gonna go and shut down that machine, the one we just restored, just to be sure. Hey, that machine is running from um, the local data store. Data has been copied. BDCO2. That's the one. Okay, that's always, bothers me to go through because a lot of time I just skip. Maybe you guys are watching, you guys say, hey, there, and I cannot see it. Anyway, here you go. So this is the machine which we deleted. Even we deleted this folder because when you say, hey, delete the machine, that it deletes everything. And right here on a creation date, the modified date, you can see it. Everything it got created at this time. So, and if I close this thing and I say, hey, power on, and this machine is being powered on right here, on this. So, guys, I think this video conclude um, the highlights of um, data recovery. Actually, we cover a instant VM recovery, full VM recovery, file level recovery, and a in file level recovery, we also the VM, configuration file recovery, and also we talked about the utility, um, from the command line or GUI for Windows, Linux, and Unix. So I'm gonna end this video, and again, and thank you for your time, and I will see you in the next video.